Hello everyone, welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well and welcome to the match build-up and opposition preview for the third round FA Cup. Arsenal against Newcastle. The FA Cup is back. We all know Kendall would know how much we enjoy that competition. So this time around you're going to face Newcastle. Is it the ideal opponent I would have wanted? Probably not. I preferred like a League Two team for the first round. So Kendall, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. Back on the channel again. Newcastle fan, real Newcastle fan. What have you made of your season so far this season?
It's been average, not really much improvement. We played really horrific football, not good to watch. So yeah, just hopefully if January goes, the way we want it to, sign a couple. I think it'll only be loan signings in January. Get a couple loans in and try and strengthen towards the last half of the season because, we're like mid-bottom table now, so it's looking a bit peak towards the end of the season. So yeah, fingers crossed.
I've seen you complain about Brandon Williams? I think you want Brandon Williams. What do you make of that if you get him?
I just feel like it's a waste because it's not really yes, it's an area I would like to strengthen in long term, but depending on what happens, like I just don't see the point in us having him for game time when it's just like sort of we're strengthening another club's youth prospect. Like that's just how I see it. I'd rather get someone in like on a longer term or, like an older player that I know isn't going to go back to their club and go and end up being like a great player because we'll just be back to square one at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? So so I find it a little bit of a waste, to be honest. Especially if there's other positions we really need to strengthen in, like midfield. So yeah, I just find it a waste. It's not the player that I'm having an issue with. It's just the player in that position because I think there's probably other areas we can strengthen in before that.
Yeah, awesome. So the time the FA Cup draw was being made, which team did you want? Which kind of teams did you want to be played against?
Well, we had a pretty like sort of, I would say, easy on paper round couple of rounds going into the Carabao Cup. So obviously everyone always wants a lower league team, but in my opinion, I find that they like going all guns blazing because it's like it's fun for them. That's what they want to do. They want a chance at progressing. So they are actually harder to deal with. To be honest, we would probably struggle against anyone. I mean, we got Newport in the Carabao Cup and we had to go to penalties. It's like I just wouldn't really be like comfortable with anyone right now, if I'm honest.
Would you prefer home game or away game?
Home. I think home always. Well, if the fans are there, it's different because home's always better. But I mean, right now, it doesn't really make a difference, I don't think.
I mean, you say that, but this season, we were both eliminated in the same round in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. Last season, you did very well in the FA Cup. Actually, if you beat City last season, you'd have played Arsenal in the semi-final. I remember praying that City would not beat you guys because I didn't want City. I thought they would absolutely smash us in the semi-final. So last season, you beat the likes of West Brom 3-2 in the quarterfinal in the last 16, I think. So last season, did you enjoy the cup run last season? Did you hope you'd get to Wembley?
I would have loved to. I've never seen my team get to Wembley, so I would have loved to just even to get to a semi would have been amazing. I mean, to be fair, the team that we play and the way we play football, quarterfinals is decent. And obviously we've done that last year. We did it this year, but obviously got kicked out by Brentford in the Carabao. So we'll see. This is I think it's a tough draw for the first FA Cup game that we're going to play. So.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago it wasn't going to be that tough, but we just won a couple of games. Last season you drew with a lot of teams in the FA Cup. You played Rochdale, you drew 1-1. They came to your place, you beat them 4-1. You drew with Oxford United, you had to replay that one too. You beat West Brom 3-2, and then you lost to City 2-0. This season, of course, there's no replay. So are you hoping to take it to penalties or extra time or something like that?
I wouldn't like to. I'd just like it to be finished. Like penalties worry me massively. Just with anything, like they worry me when England play, they worry me when Newcastle play. It doesn't make a difference. They worry me. I'd just rather not have the stress. Extra time I can maybe just push to deal with, but penalties, I absolutely hate penalties.
Yeah. So you haven't been that. I know what you're saying about being on terrible form, but hey, you just lost 2-0 to City. They beat us by 4 goals. They beat Chelsea by 3. You drew with Liverpool. Carroll is scoring goals again. What have you made of Carroll? Are you happy he's back?
I'm happy he's scored. I wish the fans were there to see it because obviously he's like a little cult hero with the fans, Geordie boy and things like that. But he just doesn't stay fit enough for me. I know this is probably the fittest he's ever been because he normally misses like pre-season with injuries and stuff, and he didn't like at the beginning of this season. He just doesn't get enough game time, and he's coming to the last stages of his career now. So I'd like to see him play in like cup games. Like I wouldn't mind things like that because certain teams, like Man City, for example, can't cope with a striker like Andy Carroll because he is so physical. But he just doesn't get enough game time for me. It was just a publicity signing that to get the fans on side with Bruce, I think. So, yeah.
So let's get to your starting lineup for the game. What kind of lineup would you go for this game?
What I would go for and what Bruce would go for is
what you would go for, if you're the manager.
Two completely different things. So, for me, the league is so important to us this year. I really don't want to be battling relegation to the end of the season. I really don't. So I would probably play players that wouldn't normally play. I would even probably stick a couple of youngsters in there if I'm honest. Yes, it is against Arsenal and it's tough, but this cup is Arsenal's, historically Arsenal's cup. They always do well in the FA Cup. And the league is so important.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yes, we do, Kendall. Yes, we do. You can say that right now. Yes, we do. We do very well.
The league is so important to us this year. So I would probably, if we're going to, go out a bit attacking, maybe I'll put Wilson and Gale there. I wouldn't have Joe Linton on. I'd play Jacob Murphy. Ryan Fraser's not fit, I don't think. So he obviously wouldn't play. I would maybe... The midfield for me is obviously difficult because we only really have a couple of decent midfielders. So two, Hayden, Matty Longstaff at a push, Shelvey. I don't see Arsenal's attack as the thing that I should worry about. It's people like Tierney who I worry about. Yeah. So defensively, I think we're going to have to be a lot better. So I think I would have Gale, Wilson. I was Gale just behind Wilson. Even Carroll, I would maybe, interchange. Maybe it's even Gale and Carroll even. Just so we could save Wilson for the league because he's the only one scoring goals for us at the moment. I'd have a back five, I think, as well, just to handle, players like Saka, Tierney a bit better on the wings. I don't even know how Arsenal are going to approach this either because, the league's important to you guys at the moment as well. So I would probably... have Dubravka back because he's back now. Give Darlow a little bit of a rest because it's a cup game. See how Dubravka's come back into fitness. Then I would have probably Jamal Lewis in again for a left wing back. Murphy at right wing back. I don't know if Lascelles isn't fit either. I don't think so. That leaves us with Clark and Fernandez or Shah at the back. So. Yeah, that's probably what I'd have to go for because we're at the bare bones at the moment. So that's pretty much our first team, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you've actually broken it down well because I was about to ask you that same question. Which one are you taking more seriously, this game or the one for next week in the Premier League? So it's Premier next League. Week.
Yeah, definitely Premier League for me, 100%. I don't mind dropping out of this cup now because we are currently at the moment 15th. So I know we're quite far away from 18th, about 9 or 10 points, but it's still for me this is so important, the league for us this year. I really don't want to get relegated. I really, really don't. I don't think we will, but the way things are going and the football that we play, I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if we were battling up and down there. So yeah,
you say you don't have good midfielders. Would you take Xhaka and El Neni if you're offered for 10 million?
I'd probably take Xhaka just because I don't know because I don't rate him, but we struggle big time in midfield. We desperately need a midfielder. So I don't really know. I really wanted Ross Barkley, but we couldn't afford his wages apparently. And obviously he went to Villa. So I'd probably take Xhaka and. Not El Neni, I don't think I would take, but beggars can't be choosers, really.
Yeah.
when our midfield is so terrible. I'll maybe put Hendrick in there actually to play because he hasn't played for a few games. Maybe I don't even know if he's fit at the moment. This is what I mean, because coronavirus has had such an effect. I don't know who's fit and I don't know who's not. So I really couldn't even tell you the team right now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about 3 players because I actually have 2 Newcastle players in my FPL team. That is Wilson and the other one is Lewis. What happened to Lewis? Because the last 2 games I think he's been benched.
Yeah, he has. Unfortunately, he's just regressed under Steve Bruce. He can't play in the back 4 because his defensive capabilities aren't great for a left back. He's more of like a modern day left wing back sort of role. So he's better at playing out from the back, playing forward down the wing. He's a lot better at that than he is defending. So because we've had to defend a lot in the last couple of games, like Man City, Liverpool, you're expecting to defend a lot. He hasn't played, and they've obviously preferred sort of Matt Ritchie there or someone like that, which I can understand. I do understand it. But I do think it's a coaching thing. It's nothing to do with Jamal. I think he's just, he's lost his confidence because he's had such a bad couple of runs before the last couple of games. And he's just, this system just isn't suiting him, and the coaching obviously isn't suiting him, which is a shame because obviously, like Liverpool and that was interested in signing him before we did. So it's a shame to see like a young talent like that regress, but hopefully he picks up. And that's why I would probably like to see him in the cup game, just so he could get a bit of confidence back. And plus I think he'll handle the pace in your team a lot better than Matt Ritchie would. So that's why I'll probably like to see him in the cup game.
So as of now, he's dropped out of the first team?
Yeah, as of now.
And how about Saint Maximin? Why is he still injured?
We don't know where he is. We don't know if he's injured. He had coronavirus. Well, we think. No one actually directly confirmed that he had coronavirus. Apparently he's suffering from the long-term effects of coronavirus. He has come onto Instagram, done a live stream to say that he's not injured, he's fine, he's completely fine. He's just recovering, but the club haven't released any information. He hasn't said anything other than that, and he's normally very, very active on Twitter. Like he has banter with the fans, and he's normally very interactive, and he hasn't been, which is it. That's what's concerning me a little bit, because he just isn't the same. Even on social media, as I say, he's just not the same as what we have seen him in the past. And Steve Bruce has said he's still a couple of weeks away, which worries me more, because like the January window's here, and I just think like, is he on gardening leave as to not get injured so that he can move in January? I don't know. I don't want to be like a conspiracy theorist. I just hope that's not the case. But he's nowhere to be seen. He's still weeks away. So
and how about your captain?
Yeah, he's the same. I think he's back in training now though. So whether or not he'll be available for this game, I don't know. But probably in the next 2-3 games we'll see him.
So what's your prediction for this game?
As I say, it depends on the team Steve Bruce puts out. If he plays Wilson, I think it'll probably be quite a tight game. I'm probably thinking 2-1 Arsenal, just with the form and the positive run that you're on right now. I think the youngsters will outpace us and get round us if they play.
So the good thing for you guys could be that I think Saka's played too many games. I think it's time for him to rest. I think he'll be rested. Okay. That means the likes of Pepe and Willian will now play this game, so you might not have to deal with that
Pepe
space.
Or Willian.
Both of them will play.
Doesn't affect me.
Martinelli will be back for this one because he was rested for the other game. Aubameyang will probably start up front, but Lacazette won't. My predicted lineup was Leno in goal because our second goalkeeper is terrible, and then Niles on the left, no Tierney, fortunately for you. Cedric on the right, will probably have Luis back and Holding, and then probably El Neni and someone like Ceballos. Thomas Partey could be back, so that could be an advantage for us, but I don't think he'll be put in this game. So Saka won't play, Smith Rowe won't play. So
it's so dependent on who the managers go with and what their their end game is. I think it just completely depends. I think it will be a pretty close game. If we decide to field a strong enough team, which I'm probably won't. Well, if he's sensible enough, he won't field our first 11 because that's just daft. But this is the world of Steve Bruce. He's not known for making great decisions. So
Speaking of Steve Bruce, what do you hate about him? What do you hate about this one? Or what do you like about him? What do you dislike about him?
I don't dislike him. I think he's a really decent bloke. He comes across quite well usually. As a person, he seems all right. He seems like easy to get along with. But as a manager, and especially of a club that he claims is his boyhood club, I don't buy that, because just the way he spoke about the fans, he has like thinly veiled digs at the fans a lot, and he calls us keyboard warriors. And when we played Liverpool after the game, he was like, "Oh well, that'll shut a few of them up." Like you just don't talk about your fans like that. That's just not, especially when they don't like you already. Like that's just not how you go about things. And the football he plays is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. I've had fans from America message me, like Premier League football fans, who are like, how do you deal with this? Like, we genuinely don't know how you're watching this week in, week out. Every time we play, like, I've had Man United fans message me like, okay, we see what you say about Steve Bruce now, because I think people go off like results and certain things, because on paper 2-1 against Leicester and 0-0 against Liverpool doesn't look that bad, really. And I think people look at that at face value and they don't understand like what we're watching is like really, really, really bad. We just sit back, so defensive. We defend a 1-0 loss like it's a win. Like, it's just embarrassing. It's really, really atrocious. And the way we played against Liverpool, I could handle losses better if we played like that, because it was better to see. But when you're sitting back so defensively and you park on the bus and you think, come on, like, just do something, just attack. And that's just what I find hard and difficult to watch. And I think a lot of us are like very disengaged with watching it now.
So who do you think, since you started supporting Newcastle, who's been your favourite manager?
Since I started supporting them. So apart from Bobby Robson, because I was very young when he was a manager. Obviously I'm 25, so he was like manager between 2000 and 2004-ish. I don't think it was that long, but I don't know. So apart from him, because I obviously was very young, Rafa, 100%. Rafa all day long, because not for the football or anything, even though we could rely on defensive football, he just got the club, he got the fans, he wanted to improve us as a club. Like, he had plans to change the training facilities, restructure the academy, he wanted to extend the stadium. Like, he just got it, he just understood the history of the club, and he came out and he said, I don't care who wants to leave in this transfer window, because we are not a stepping stone. Like, we are Newcastle United, we're not a stepping stone for another club. And I just think a lot of fans obviously resonated with that, because we haven't been successful for the last 15 years, and prior to that we were. So a lot of fans got it. 100% Rafa's been my favourite manager by country mile. I haven't liked another one, to be honest.
How about that's a lie, Alan Pardew?
I liked Chris Hughton. I hated Alan Pardew towards the end, even though he didn't do too bad. Like, as a manager, he wasn't. As a football manager, he wasn't terrible, and he made some really, really decent signings, to be fair, Alan Pardew. But as a bloke, he's hard to get along with.
I mean, there's a time you had the likes of Dembaba and Cisse, and you were really, really good. So since we're already in that topic, who has been your best player at Newcastle ever for you? The ones you've watched.
Obviously not Alan Shearer. I'm not going to say Alan Shearer, because that's just so common, and everyone will say that. For me, Hatem Ben Arfa, 100%. Ben Arfa for me, just because you think of what could have been, like, if he was handled correctly and he wasn't under Pardew and he had a different manager who believed in him and understood what he was about, he could have been amazing. Other than that, it would have probably obviously been like Bar and Cisse when they were together. I loved them two together.
Did Ben Arfa score that goal against Fulham? Was it Fulham?
Yeah, when he
that brilliant goal. I remember it very well.
And then other than that, like, that whole team, so like 2012-ish was like my favourite Newcastle team that we've ever had, apart from when we won the championship in 2016. So Czech Chiota I loved as well. Just rest in peace to him. I still got to believe he's not here, but that whole team 2012 was probably one of my favourites.
That name still haunts me to this day. That is because of the 2010 4-4. Also, I remember there was like a 7-3. That game you guys actually played really well with Dembaba and those stuff. So we had some really good games. I remember there's a time we went to Old Trafford, I think, lost like 4-3 or something. Used to be very good. And how about now? Who's your best player right now?
Right now, Wilson, 100%.
100%.
He's just changed we haven't had a striker like that for a long, long time. Rondon wasn't ours, he was on loan, and before that it was Cisse. So we haven't had a really, really decent number 9 like that for a long time. So definitely Wilson.
I really love Wilson. I still have him in my FPL team, so I really, really like him.
Me too.
So
He's the only striker I haven't dropped this whole season because I originally had Calvert-Lewin, dropped him because he was out of form. I've got him back now, and then I changed Bamford for Jamie Vardy halfway through the season as well. So Wilson's the only one that I haven't dropped so far. So that's saying something good.
He's gotten some really good goals, some braces. I think at home he got a goal away to West Ham, so I really like him. So for the other games, just quick predictions. Aston Villa will play Liverpool on Friday. Which one will win this one? Liverpool on terrible form, of course.
I think it's going to be close. I really do. I think Villa might take it. I think it's going to be 2-1 Villa.
Wow.
At home.
Then Friday, Wolves against Palace.
Wolves on a bit of a funny run as well, and obviously they were 3-3 against Brighton at the weekend, which they probably saw as lost points. So I think Wolves will take that. 2-0 Wolves.
Championship London derby, QPR against Fulham. Not Championship. Fulham got promoted, of course, last season to the Championship. So Championship against Premier League.
It has to be a win, doesn't it? So because obviously we don't have second round, so I think that'll be a close one as well. 1-0 Fulham. I really just don't see that being.
I actually don't think they'll win. I actually think they'll lose this, and I don't know why.
I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't surprise me, but.
Yeah, another Championship against League. Blackpool against West Brom. Is it Championship? No, this is a League One team against a Premier League opposition.
Oh God! If Big Sam does anything other than win, like if he loses, that'll be atrocious. But I can see it because they're terrible. They've conceded 12 goals since he took charge.
Yeah,
so that's pretty bad. Yeah,
he's not been that good. Yeah,
I can see this going to penalties or something. To be honest, I can't really see them doing much because, as I say, lower league teams always attack a lot because they want to do well in the cup. It's exciting. So yeah,
especially against the West Broms of this world. So yeah. Stoke Leicester.
Oh, Leicester all day long. That'll be 3-0. That. Even
with their second team, obviously they'll rest the likes of Vardy and Maddison.
Yeah, I still think their second team is probably decent enough to take them. Stoke they're pretty far down the bottom of the Championship, aren't they? So, I think Leicester.
United against Watford.
As much as I hate it, I think Man United will be fine.
Believe me, I hate it too. I can't actually believe they're going to take the title. It hurts me very badly. City against Birmingham. How many goals will they get?
Oh. A few. Obviously, they won't play the first team either, but again, their squad depth probably pretty decent as well. So,
of course, they do have an important game on Wednesday tomorrow. Keep in mind, United and City, they play each other in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, so you never know who's going to play in this one. So City to win, obviously, by more than 4.
Yeah.
And then Crawley against Leeds.
Probably. Oh God, that's got to be Leeds. I think they're the same as us. That the league is obviously going to be important to them this year. I don't think they'll probably not be fighting relegation, but they'll probably in the bottom half if they don't pick up. So I think they'll whether or not they'll take this seriously, I don't know. But yeah, Leeds.
And then a couple of more Championship games: Nottingham Forest against Cardiff.
Oh, I've got to say Nottingham Forest because one of my really, really good friends plays for Nottingham Forest, so got to say Nottingham Forest, otherwise I'll get wrong.
Hey, I didn't know that, but I had to put that game in. Thank goodness I put it in. And then Luton against Reading.
I don't really pay much attention to the Championship and that now, so they're both.
Well, Reading are doing very well.
I've heard Reading are doing well, so probably I'll take Reading.
Reading to win it, okay. And then who would you consider favourite to win the FA Cup this season?
See, you've got to think about things like Champions League at the side and teams that, like Man City are going to obviously be all guns blazing in the Champions League and stuff, so I don't think they'll take the FA Cup that seriously. Obviously you guys are normally the favourites, but this year with the struggles and things, I probably wouldn't have you down as favourites. Maybe even Leicester might.
Any team. I mean,
Leicester might try and win the FA Cup this year because they're not obviously in the Carabao and things like that at the moment. So maybe they might even go for the FA Cup. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe even a team like Leeds. You never know how far they get. They have a really, really, really
could be
really
anyone.
Good...
That's the beauty of the FA Cup, though. It could be absolutely anybody's game. So.
Yeah. So last question. For the. Sorry, let me try and get it up. For the Arsenal team, which player would you want 100% to be rested? Which player don't you want to see in that game?
Probably right now, as I said, it would be Tierney, because I think he's providing the most attack, even from defence. He's got pace. He's I don't know what it is in the left back water in Scotland, but there's something going on up there. So it would definitely be, and I don't have like someone in mind who could take him on from our team. So yeah, I think Tierney I would be worried about, and obviously Saka as well, because but as you say, you think he's played too many games, so he probably won't play. But he worries me massively. I think he's an amazing young talent, and I really think he's massively one to watch.
Yeah, Tierney, very, very good. He actually plays centre-back for Scotland. Robertson plays left-back, so it's kind of interchanging. So where can they follow you?
They can just Kendall Rowan on everything, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also you'll see me on the football terrace a lot, here, there and everywhere. That's where I am mostly. Awesome,
man. I wish you all the best in this game. My prediction for this game, I don't think we'll hammer you, because I don't know. I feel like we also don't score that many goals apart from the West Brom game. So I actually agree with their prediction. I think he'll score. That is probably because he'll play either Carroll or Wilson. None of them will have to score, especially Carroll. We've never dealt with him very well. So maybe 2-1 to Arsenal. So make sure you follow Kendall, Rowan on the Newcastle channels, on a Twitter handle, maybe even on Instagram if you want. So thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.